Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are all very welcome in today's session on gems from Bhagavatam. And we have an amazing pastime that we'll be reliving today, visiting to purify our consciousness. So, in 8th Canto, there's a beautiful prayer by Gajendra. So, we'll continue with here. Please join us for invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet Shravatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantastho Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please join us for the recitation of this verse by King Gajendra. Shri Gajendra Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yat Etat Chitatmakam Purushayadi Vijaya Pareshaya Vidhimahi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Person, Vasudev, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. Purport. Devi, would you like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word etat chidatmakam are very important. The material body certainly consists of material elements, but when one awakens to Krishna conscious understanding, the body is no longer material but spiritual. The material body is meant for sense enjoyment, whereas the spiritual body engages in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, a devotee who engages in service of Supreme Lord and who constantly thinks of Him should never be considered to have a material body. It is therefore enjoined, Gurushu Naramati. One should stop thinking of the spiritual master as an ordinary human being with a material body. Achay Vishnu Shilathi. Everyone knows that deity in the temple is made of stone, but to think that deity is merely made of stone is an offense. Similarly, to think that the body of the spiritual master consists of material ingredients is offensive. Atheists think that devotees foolishly worship a stone statue as God and an ordinary man as the Guru. The fact is, however, that by the grace of Krishna's omnipotence, the so-called stone statue of the deity is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the body of the spiritual master is directly spiritual. A pure devotee who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service should be understood to be situated on the transcendental platform. Sa gunan samatityatan brahmabhuyaya kalpate. Let us therefore offer our obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose mercy so-called material things also become spiritual when they are engaged in spiritual activity. Omkar, Pranav, is the symbolic sound representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho Brahmanas Trividha Smrita. The three words Om Tat Sat immediately invoke the Supreme Person. Therefore, Krishna says that he is Omkar in all the Vedic mantras, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. The Vedic mantras are pronounced beginning with Omkar to indicate immediately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimadbhagavatam, for example, begins with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. There is no difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev and Omkar Pranav. We should be careful to understand that Omkar doesn't indicate anything Nirankar or formless. Indeed, this verse immediately says Om Namo Bhagavate. Bhagavan is a person, thus, Omkara is the representation of the Supreme Person. Omkara is not meant to be impersonal as the Mayavadi philosophers consider it to be. And this is distinctly expressed here by the word Purushaya. The Supreme Truth addressed by Omkara is Purusha, the Supreme Person. He is not impersonal. Unless he is the person, how can he control the great stalwart controllers of this universe? Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva are the supreme controllers of this universe. But Lord Vishnu is offered obeisances even by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Therefore, this verse uses the word Pareshaya, which indicates that Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by exalted demigods. Pareshaya means Parmeshwara. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are Ishwaras, great controllers, but Lord Vishnu is Parameshwara, Param Ishwara, the supreme controller. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Devi. My dear devotees, please join us for the invocation prayers to get blessings from Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande shigrum dinataranam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, dear devotees. So let me give you this pastime. Let's cover the pastime quickly so that we can come to the point of this prayer. So there used to be a king by the name Indradumna. And this king was a very valiant king. Yet at the same time, he was looking for true satisfaction. Even though he had great kingdom, Pandal Desh, again, he had immense power, but he was not satisfied with these worldly things. And so he decided that he would meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thinking in this manner, like many kings, there were different reasons for different kings, right? Lord Krishna says, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukrito arjuna. So again, there are four kinds of sukri. Artho jigyasu arthati ganishcha bhatashva. So when somebody takes shelter of higher power, especially Lord Krishna, he says there are four kinds of people that take shelter of me. And these are sukriti, these are pious men. Not devotees yet, but pious. They are good people. And artho jigyasu arthati. Artho is one who is distressed. And that would be one case. We can think of Gajendra. Many of you know the Gajendra pastime. Then you would say, yes, he was in distress. But he had much higher consciousness than being in distress. That will be discovery in this three-part series. So, Jigyasu, one who's inquisitive, want to know. And Arthati, one who is looking for economic development, one who is looking for name, fame, glories, more science gratification. Sometimes people from that mindset also they come. And finally, Gyanishcha, those who are intelligent and they want to inquire on the absolute truth, the ultimate absolute truth. As Srila Prabhupada very nicely revealed in the purport, that Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, these are the three Gunavatars. They are the controllers of this universe. Lord Brahma is responsible for creation, Lord Vishnu is responsible for maintenance, and Lord Shiva is responsible for annihilation, which actually causes the beginning of new phrase. So all of them have their destiny, but they are controllers, they are Ishvara. But Lord Vishnu of the three is referred to as Parameshvara. He is beyond the Ishvara. Just like we are Atma, we are just living entities, the souls. Yet at the same time, Lord who is residing in our heart is Paramatma. He is the supreme super soul. So again, from that perspective, so he's a person. And when we look from that perspective, King Indradyumna's life, he was actually, Pandal Desh was very great country at that time, and he was very valiant king, but then he gave over the reign of his kingdom because he was seeking absolute truth. And he went to the jungle meditating. And his meditation, he would be so deeply engaging in his meditation that he would lose himself. Yes, in seventh canto, we talked about how Prahlad Maharaj sometimes he would be, meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in his meditation, he would suddenly start laughing, remembering some, interesting pastime of Lord Krishna. Or sometimes he would just start crying. So there are so many wonderful pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sometimes we see the devotees, they are like constantly lost in those meditations, which reminds me of a very interesting, Lord Krishna, he would relate to his friends in a very interesting way. And sometimes when we think of that, suddenly different expressions come to our mind. So we know about Madhu Mangal, the Brahman boy, and Lord Krishna, he would sometimes bring nice laddus for Madhu Mangal. He liked laddus. And Madhu Mangal would say, "Oh, Krishna, you are son of a Vaishya king. Nand Maharaj is a Vaishya king. So you're a Vaishya. You're a mercantile person. And I am a Brahmana. I'm Brahman Putra, so I am a Brahmana. So when you will give me laddu, I'll give you blessings." And that would be nice exchange. So Lord Krishna would, jokingly, very nicely will bring him nice laddus. And sometimes Lord Krishna would also cause him to get into trouble because of his one habit that he loves to eat. And yet at the same time, Madhumangal is, when you look from that perspective, a materialist person, when you look at it, like he just likes to eat. They may not realize that the same Madhumangal does not open his eyes, in the morning till he has seen Krishna. So in his sleep, he would walk all the way to Nand Maharaj's home and go to the gate and call out to Krishna, "Oh Kanha, where are you? Oh Kanha, please come out." So Krishna, just to sometimes, delay his coming out, so he would not respond. And Madhu Mangal would be feeling hungry, feeling kind of little hot in summertime, a little too cold during winter time, but he would bear it because he wants to see Kanha. So when he opens his eyes, he wants to see Krishna. That is his determination. So similarly, Lord Krishna, when he is interacting with his cowherd boys, he would see that one of the cowherd boy, he is always sad, right? So how would Lord Krishna give nicknames? Sometimes we have friends, right? Somebody who's very big and bulky, we would give him different names. And then somebody who's very slim, we would give him different names. So those kind of things actually started by Krishna. He started this nickname tradition. And we should not do name calling. We should always give people names that they like. We should not give them names that make them feel frustrated or irritated. That's why it's a perverted reflection what we see in current times when people give names to others, just making joke of them. So one of the friend of Krishna is very sad all the time. So Krishna gives him the name Manasukha, who is always very happy, mindfully. So he would think about, I'm supposed to be very happy. He says, I'm Manasukha. So why should I be sad? So he would sometimes smile now and then, remembering that Krishna calls him as Manasukha. There is one cowherd boy, he's very thin. So much thin that you can actually count all his ribs from a distance. Lord Krishna is thinking, and he calls him Tanu Sukha, who's very happy with his body. He's got nice physique. Now, Tan Sukha may think, but I am actually Tan Sukha. My body is all dried up. That's why I'm in such a state. But he would not think that way, because he remembers Krishna is calling me Tan Sukha, that I am getting a lot of bodily pleasure. So I am in a very healthy state. So this is, higher intelligence. Lord Krishna is teaching by his example. So when we call different people by different names, we should call them so that we feel good and they feel better from where they are. That's the mood. Not giving people nicknames just so as to make fun of them. That is the perverted reflection in this material world. So various kind of these thoughts would come from Lord Krishna's pastimes. And we see how Prahlad Maharaj sometimes would be crying, sometimes he would be rolling on the ground, sometimes he would be just laughing unlimitedly. And similar was the state of Indradumna Maharaj. He was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. He was thinking, oh my dear Lord, I want you, I want to see you, I want to play with you, I want to serve you, I want to. His wishes were like long list of wishes. And what happens when we have long list of wishes? But these are hollow spiritual wishes. And Lord Krishna is liking when somebody has spiritual wishes. And he is constantly in meditation. And he's got such a big physique and all this, yet at the same time he's living alone in the jungle. And most of his time he would just keep meditating on the sweet pastimes of Lord Krishna, Radharani, the Gopa boys. All the times we hear about Aghasu, his story was not told to the Vrajvasis for a whole year. Why? Because Lord Brahma has stolen them. And Lord Krishna expanded as the Gopa boys and the calves, just so that the mothers and the cows don't feel the absence of their children. And in this way, when we think of it, that everyone was attracted to Krishna, but when that 1 year, when the children were 5 years old to all the way to 6 years old, everyone was attracted to their own children. The cows were attracted to their own calves. They were giving milk. Mothers were feeding their babies, the Gopa boys, and cows were feeding their calves with their milk. Who are they giving milk to? Giving milk to Lord Krishna. So in this way, we see that just so beautiful pastimes. So Indradumna would be so lost sometimes, and once it so happened that sage Agastya with his many disciples, he came to the king's ashram. So again, one of the important aspects is that we have to understand that this pastime starts not in the life of Gajendra from when he's born as a king of elephants, but from his previous life, where he was King Indradumna. And he was in meditation. And so in his meditation, he did not realize that Sage Agastya and his disciples are here. Well, when Parikshit Maharaj is hearing this story from Shukdev Goswami, he is reminded of one thing. What is he reminded of? When he went, in the afternoon, when he was very thirsty, he went to Shamik Rishi's ashram. And there, he was hoping that Shamik Rishi, who was a sage, a Brahmana, would welcome him as Atithi, one who comes unannounced. There's no date for Atithi Devo Bhava, that's our Sanskriti. So from that particular perspective, and now he was feeling very strong thirst. He was in sun, he was not feeling comfortable. And now he is seeing that this Rishi, Shamik Rishi, is not even welcoming him. He's completely lost. And he's thinking, maybe this Rishi, this Brahman, is trying to avoid me, seeing that the king has come, so maybe I'll have to serve the king. So how can I avoid? I will keep my eyes closed and my ears closed and completely lost in my own world. Sometimes it happens. We as children know that when we were children, many times we'll feel scared, right? And what would we do? We just close our eyes. Sometimes there is a saying that the mouse has closed its eyes so that now it will not be fearing the cat. Sometimes this kind of thoughts come on the mindset of another person. So King Indradumna was completely meditating on Lord Krishna's pastimes, sweet pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sage Agastya thinks, this king, he has got such a stout body. He's so capable, but he's sitting here like a dull elephant. He doesn't have any manners. He is not, welcoming me. When these thoughts happen, Parikshit Maharaj can directly relate to it. Why? Because he had similar thoughts to a Shamik Rishi. He said, oh, this Brahman is avoiding, I'm the king of this kingdom. I'm the king of the world and I have come to his ashram, but he wants to avoid me, so he is meditating like this. And what did Parikshit Maharaj do? He didn't have, maybe he had, but in this case, he didn't want to curse, but he saw that there is dead snake lying nearby. So he used his bow to pick up that dead snake and put it around the neck of Shamik Rishi. Shamik Rishi was so absorbed that he did not even pay attention that the king has placed a dead snake around his neck. But his son Shringi, who was playing with his friends, from a distance he could see what the king has done, Parikshit Maharaj has done. And he was a very powerful son. He was a very powerful Brahman boy. And so immediately cursed Parikshit Maharaj. First, he actually glorified that we are the spiritual masters of this universe. And these Kshatriyas are supposed to be providing us protection, and now this is the way they are behaving. They are dishonoring their spiritual masters. So let this king let this king die by the bite of a snake in 7 days. Now, as soon as Shamik Rishi came to know, he immediately chastised his son and sent the message to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, when he came to know, first he must have been shocked, because it was not that big an offense, but this punishment is grave. Sometimes we all feel that the punishment we get in this material world is too much for the small mistakes that we make, right? Don't we all feel that? It was just an innocent mistake. It just happened. But these lessons from Bhagavatam are teaching us the great reversal of life. How one, when in fear, takes the shelter of faith. When one, in tough circumstances, situations, takes surrender unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So those are some of the important lessons that we'll be learning today. So Parikshit Maharaj can directly relate to what is going on in these situations. Of course, he's very eager to hear that what is going on. And I'm giving you not in a chronological order, as it's given in Bhagavatam, just to set the context in chronological order. And so now this king, Indradumna, has been cursed. And he, in his next birth, is born as the king of the elephants. Gaja means elephant. Indra means king of the elephants, Gajendra. And he has got a gigantic body. He's not an earthly planet, by the way. He's on one of the heavenly planets. And with this, near the ocean, there are sapphires, as described. And sapphires come when the ocean is an ocean of milk. So Srila Prabhupada, when he says that many planets, they have ocean of oil, ocean of milk, ocean of water. Of course, the salt water is here. So many other varieties of liquids are there. And Indradumna, now born as Gajendra, was living very happily. Sometimes that's the mantra materialists have, right? Eat, sleep, and be merry. That's the that's the basic perspective that they have. So here, Gajendra is living his life very nicely, being surrounded by many she-elephants, being praised by many personalities, and he would be always with his associates intoxicated. Elephants, they love to be intoxicated because we are talking about animals, and they have various kind of things like bears. They love to drink honey, right? And they get intoxicated by taking too much honey. So similarly, elephants also take various kind of, food stuff, and they become intoxicated. Well, when humans eat, they go into food coma. So we can all relate to it, right? So again, when we eat too much and we are not capable of But this Gajendra, he was so gigantic. He would be, he would roll through the jungle. And the amazing thing was that all the big animals, like the tigers and lions, all the ferocious animals, foxes, they would just run away seeing him. The wolves, they would not be in the vicinity. And the small animals, they would be very nicely, going along, seeing. Now, what does this represent? This represents that when there is a rightful king, who maintains the disciplines, all the thieves and rogues, they run away in the presence of the king, while the general populace, they prosper very nicely, very peacefully they live. Right? Those who love to work with everyone else, they very nicely live. So here in this mood, he is wandering in the jungle, and then he is one day in the Sarovar. Now it's Rishuvat. Rituvat, yes. Lake, yes. Sarovar is lake. Yes. And this garden Rituvat is also very important. Because when we hear Rituvat, what means always in alignment with Ritu, with the season. And so it is explained that this garden had many lotuses and lilies in the pond. And it was right in the valley area between the mountains. And this is where the beauty comes in, because the mountains, this cause the rains to fall so it doesn't become too hot or too cold in this area, being also close to the ocean. And it had such a nice vegetation that it would bring up flowers which will highlight and make every season look very auspicious. So when you are in winter time, you want to go to a place that is warm, and this place will become warm. During the summertime, you want to go to a place that is shaded and cool, and it would become shaded and cool. So because of the mountains and the kind of settings very close to the ocean, but it would not be, you know, directly having the impact of the weather. It would actually bring just the opposite effect so that people will feel attracted. So Gajendra went to this nice lake with his family, with all the young elephants and she elephants and his associates, other elephants, and they were just playing. And now, what happens when we go to the ponds and other places? Sometimes we just throw water on each other. We play some kind of kila, which also reminds us of Lord Krishna when he would go with the gopis. After doing the rasa dance, they would all get very tired, and then they would just go to the Yamuna river and they would take a dip in Yamuna. And then over there, the gopis would throw water on Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna would throw on water. So again, that is Lord Krishna's Leela. But we are human beings, right? We are jivas. We are Atmas, he is Paramatma. So again, from that perspective, we have to also understand that copying sometimes, imitating may fire back. And that's exactly what happened to Gajendra. His playing fired back because there happened to be a crocodile in that particular lake. And this crocodile is thinking, who has come to my land? Yes. What does the crocodile represent? This crocodile represents sense gratification, how material energy catches us. It's not the material energy is catching us. We are getting attached to material energy. It's just the other way around. Now, Srila Prabhupada gives many short stories that also highlight this aspect. Once there was a man, he was walking around and he was seeing some elephants being tied with really small, thin rope. And he asked the animal caretaker, he's like, how come all these elephants, you have kept them in the open and just tied with this small, thin rope? They can just break it and go away. But the animal caretaker, he said, but they won't, because when they were children, they were tied with this rope. They tagged on it. After some time, they gave away. They have that impression in their mind. And being conditioned with those experiences, they are not going to pull on this rope. They have this feeling that they cannot break this rope, and so they will be tied. What does that mean? That is our conditioned state. Being conditioned to engage with sense gratification and have this mantra of eat, sleep, and be merry, people become very comfortable in this material world. But they are spoiling this precious human birth. They are not realizing that there is a great importance of this human birth. Manushya Janma means again, this human birth is a rare gift. Actually, we are not even qualified to receive a human birth, but because Lord Krishna is so merciful, He gives us an opportunity to be born as humans so that we can break this cycle of birth and death. Jan Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Jan, birth, Mrityu, death, Jara, old age, Vyadhi, disease state. All these things are miseries in the life. And so we have to be very, very careful not to just look for that perspective, but be curious. Just like Indradumna was. King Indradumna was very curious to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, attaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a good goal to have. But there are different perspectives where how you attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, let me tell you, sometimes devotees we talk about, and we talk about levels within levels. You know, when somebody goes to the temple from materialistic mindset, they may be asking, "Oh Lord, please give me a car. Oh Lord, please give me a nice wife. Oh Lord, please give me a son, or please give me a nice promotion. Please make me the boss, or please give me a lot of wealth." All these kind of material wishes they would, but these are all temporary wishes. Now, what is important? Because when they are thinking, then they are also wondering that I am working so hard and I am praying so hard and I am still feeling miserable. But these devotees out here, they are very happy. All they are doing all day is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they are very nicely serving everyone as if there is no care in the world. How could it be? How is that? So sometimes they ask us. So they say, we are asking so much, but we are not happy even after getting those. You are not asking for these things, but still you are happy. Why? So we devotees generally have a tendency of saying, because you are asking from Krishna, we are asking Krishna. You come here to take from God, but we are coming to asking for God Himself to be on our side. Now, even here, there are different levels. Uh, some of the devotees, they look at it from the perspective, Lord Krishna, I want to own you. Lord Krishna agrees. He says, okay, I'll appear as a deity form and you can worship me day and night and you can think that you own me, but in reality, I'll always own you. So this is interesting. Sometimes Lord Krishna is saying that, oh, you all are looking for permanence in this material world, but guess what? This body you have received is rented from me. If I'm going to take this body away that you have one day. So it's very interesting that how people are so much caught up like those elephants being tied with this thin rope, and they are thinking that we are going to be here permanently for a long time. So here, King Indradumna was living like that, as Gajendra, not as King Indradumna. He was a devotee there, but being cursed by Agastya Rishi, the sage Agastya, in front of his disciples. Because sometimes, when a teacher comes and with respect to his disciples, he says people have insulted him some way. Maybe they didn't intend to, but it may appear so. He wants to establish his authority. And he wanted to establish his authority. Lord Krishna allowed him. But look at Gajendra. Now he is living all that happy married life, but again, at the same time, comes the trouble. There is a big crocodile. It's not an alligator. Alligator is like 1/4 the size of a crocodile. Crocodiles are huge. And this crocodile is thinking, so this elephant, along with his associate, is creating a lot of trouble in these waters. I'm going to teach him a lesson. And the crocodile just goes and catches onto the leg. Now somebody says, well, this was King Indradumna. He was just having fun with his family, and all of a sudden the calamity is upon him. He's being pulled in the water by this crocodile, and none of his associates are able to help him. His children and his wives, they are outside the lake, they're crying, can't do anything, and after some time they leave. All of this is happening. How could this happen? Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, it's our past karmas, they come back. But sometimes it's very interesting that we think what is happening is bad because it appears so from external symptoms. Sometimes when a patient who has some kind of ailments, right, they're going to the doctor, maybe they have weak heart, they need to have a valve in their heart and so forth because their heart is all blocked. They go to the doctor, and the surgeon opens up their chest, and then they start looking at and cleaning up their arteries and putting valves and all that kind of stuff. Somebody could say, wait a minute, there was just a small thing inside the heart. Why is his body falling apart in this manner? So much blood is flowing all over the place. Sometimes to cure the body, such things have to happen so that one can live a longer life. Similarly, to bring back that consciousness, the spiritual consciousness, also Lord Krishna provides such experiences, just like Gajendra experience. In this, crocodile is representing the material entanglement, the sense gratification that is always in our mind. Material energy on its own is jada, it's inactive. It is we having material desires is what is catching us and pulling us down, because we are surrounded by in a foreign world. We are in this world, not of this world. So material energy is providing a different environment than what we are used to. We are spiritual beings as living entities, but we are having material experience because we desire so. We sometimes hear shastras that we are fish out of water. Fish out of water, what does it want? Does it want nice food? Does it want nice shade from the sun? Does it want nice jewelry? No, fish just wants to go back in water. That's what we should be doing. That's what we have to desire. So now he's put in this state and he's feeling this extreme pain. And that's when the mercy happens. That's when Lord Krishna makes him remember. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mattah smritirjnanam apohanam cha Vedescha sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda vid eva chaham. Sarvasya cham hridhi sannivishto. I am residing in everyone's heart. Bhagavad Gita verse 15:15. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes smritir, remembrance, jnanam, knowledge, and apohanam, forgetfulness. So this is what has happened. Now he is remembering the prayers he was reciting in his previous birth. And what was that prayer? That prayer started with Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yad Etachchidatmakam Purushayadi Bijaya Pareshaya Vidhimahi. So he's praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada in the translation says Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now even this particular perspective is very interesting. Sometimes we hear some devotees talking about that he is never calling to Lord Krishna. He says Bhagavate, the Supreme Person. So that is Lord Krishna. And there's this misunderstanding sometimes because the acharyas, earlier acharyas, a few of them did write that he's calling to that Supreme Being. But who is that Supreme Being? He's not calling Krishna. He's not calling Govinda. Sometimes we say, oh, Bhagwan, please do something for me. Well, we are calling Krishna, right? Or we are calling one of his agents. Sometimes people think that Shiva is Bhagwan. Sometimes people think that, Indra is Bhagwan. Or sometimes, of course, in scriptures do sometimes refer to Narada as Bhagwan. Kamsa was referring to him as Bhagwan. Bhagwan, please help me find out how I can kill the eighth son of Devaki. That's how he was treating Devashi Narad, sage Narad. Why? Because he was thinking that if I can kill the very cause of my death, I can be immortal. But is that so? No, not truly. He was just in a fearful state. That's what demons live, means they are constantly in fearful state. And this fear comes because of material attachment. That's the sign of fear. Because devotees, anytime opposite reversals happen in life, means again, they immediately take that as an opportunity to go down to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is exactly what is happening. And Lord Brahma in Brahma's Vimohan Leela we were talking about, where he has stolen the calves and the cowherd boys. After that, when he he sees Lord Krishna, he was surprised that, where did these calves and cowherders came from? When he came back after the 1 year, earthly year, which was a moment for him. And then he went back to the cave where he'd stolen and kept all those calves and cowherders. They were there. And he's coming back. He's like, who are these then? And Lord Krishna, he lifts the curtain of Yog Maya. And at that time, he's able to see that these are all Lord's expansions. They are all in four-arm form. And then he understands that, oh, these are all Krishna's expansion. So Srila Prabhupada gives some beautiful examples in that response. He says that yes, in daytime, a snow peak may look very attractive, but where is his attraction at nighttime? You can't even see it. Similarly, at nighttime, you have these glowworms, right? What do we call them? Jugnu, yes. So these flies, which are like having a light, fireflies, they look very attractive at night. But what is their importance during daytime when the sun is out? You don't even see them. You don't even pay attention to their light because sun is just so much powerful. The stars are also there during daytime. But because of sun, you can't see the stars because the light of sun is so strong. At nighttime, these very stars, you look at constellation and you talk about them. And during the daytime also they are there. But the sunlight is so strong that we cannot relate to it. And here, when Lord Brahma is praying to Lord Krishna, he's like, my dear Supreme Personality of God, you're my father. He's referring to that. And just like, a mother doesn't take offense when the baby in the womb kicks the mother, a mother feels very excited. Many of you may have children and you remember that they were in the womb at that time when the children would kick. There would be a lot of excitement. Oh, the baby is kicking, the baby is active, the baby is playing. So many thoughts come, and these are very enlightening thoughts. So Lord Brahma is also praying like that. When a baby kicks the mother doesn't take offense. She's rather excited. So, my dear Lord, I have made a mistake. Please forgive me. And so he's asking for forgiveness. But in this prayer, he says something very beautiful in Lord Brahma's prayers. Tatte anukampam susamekshamaano bhunjane vatmakritam vipakam hridavakvapurvir viditam namaste jivetyo mukti pade sadaya bhak. Tatte anukampam. So, personalities who are your devotees, that's what he's referring to. They are just waiting for your anukampa. They are earnestly hoping for your compassion. Anukampa is referring to compassion. Bhunjan evatma kritam vipakam. So again, they are enduring all their activities, right, while patiently suffering the reactions of one's past deeds. So someone who's hoping to get your mercy, but continuing to endure, carry out their duties very nicely. And how are they offering their obeisances to you, my dear Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna? He is saying, Hrida Vak Vapurbe. Hrida, you can imagine, Hriday, right? Heart. Vak, with their words, their speech, they are glorifying you. Vapurbe, with their body, with their senses, they are serving you. And so in this way, they live their life. And so they're surely eligible for liberation, for it has become one's rightful claim. Daya Bhak refers to one's rightful claim. So Srila Prabhupada in this example also refers to a son of a rich man. All he has to do is he has to obey his father, and in due course of time he will inherit father's property. And Lord Krishna is the supreme father of this universe. And one of the people who are interested in getting a lot of wealth can very well take shelter of Lord Krishna, because there is one one kind of liberation called Sashti, where Lord Krishna gives all that he has, to his devotees. So the devotee feels they are as rich as Lord Krishna. But in reality, we all understand that these devotees at this particular point want to use everything in Lord Krishna's service. They don't have any desire for themselves to enjoy. So that is the mood of a spiritualist. And Indradumna, now the soul of Indradumna, that in the body of Gajendra is remembering the Supreme Personality of God. He picks up a lotus because what's happening is he is an animal of land, just like we are spiritual beings. But he's in water, just like we are in this material world. And he is going through so much painful experiences, just like we go through. Janma mrityu jaravadi dukha doshanu dashnam. We do not know how many thousands and thousands of millions of births we may have taken this material world suffering. So we have to look from that particular perspective. This story, my dear devotees, is our story. And when circumstances, the reverses in our life, they shake us, instead of being scared and running away from our responsibility, we should carry out our responsibilities in service, and we should seek surrender at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Just like Gajendra, he plucks a lotus flower and he is offering to Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. Now, we will cover the next part as how Lord Krishna reciprocated and who this crocodile is, so that we can relate to this personality. And so many other personalities in Bhagavatam are showing exactly how these reversals in life are actually stepping stone. So one important lesson. Next time you think that something is roadblock in your way, that someone is giving you a hard time, smile, pray for them, because they are letting you overcome those past, the reactions of your past mistakes. So that way they are helping you, the agent, to help you elevate. So these roadblocks will become stepping stones to get to a higher consciousness, higher level of understanding, my dear devotees. Just like King Indradumna in the life as Gajendra, in his next life as Gajendra, is remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And many acharyas, when they revealed, and of course, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jiva Goswami, both of them have this understanding that somebody to be called a specific name, the person has to be born before. Like we, when we name our children, we were born before. These children are born later, so we give them name. Tell me who is born before Lord Krishna. So there's no one born before Lord Krishna. So how is Lord Krishna's names coming up? Because they are coming out from his name form activities and pastimes, right? Ram, one who gives immense pleasure to oneself. Krishna, who is all attractive. Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. So all these names are coming up afterwards. So in this way, when we see Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai, he's calling to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's calling him by name because all the other demigods are there. The Acharyas reveal that when he offered the lotus flower, they were thinking, he's not calling for me. He's not calling for you too. They're looking at each other. Indra, Varuna, Agni, all of them are like, who is he calling? We are ready. We are ready with our arms and everything. We are ready to take him out of the clutches of this crocodile. But he's not calling for us. And sometimes that ego is there, right? So they are not readily approaching on their own. Because every time somebody asks, for help, but not really ask for help, but show that they're in miserable state and you try to help them, what happens? It fires back. So it's very important for us to be also very attentive to, who needs help from who. And in the next session, we'll be covering as how Lord reciprocate to the call of Gajendra, and how we see the reversal in life as something that is beneficial for us to take to that next step, because sometimes we get the best of things covered in the worst possible manner. So again, Devi, would you like to add something?
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, you are doing 3-part series?
Yes.
In 2 parts, you are
3
going
parts.
to complete this pastime.
3 parts. There are 3 big different perspectives that we'll be covering.
Okay. So, do you want to conclude and then we can have a few questions and answers?
Gantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai, Jai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. My dear devotees, if you have any question, please raise your hand.
Hare Krishna, at this time, we are inviting any questions, comments, any reflections. We have still 5 to 10 minutes. We can all chant together Hare Krishna Mahamantra once while devotees think of any doubts they may have. Otherwise, we'll conclude the class.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, if you don't have questions, then I have questions for you. How many of you have faced difficulties in your life? Raise your hand if you have faced difficulties in your life. I only see one person. Two.
Yeah. And if you click on that, you will see a raise hand.
Yes.
You can click on that. So for those who are awake and available and still listening, you can indicate by raising hand if you have experienced any kind of difficulty in your life.
Now,
okay, we can lower the hand.
Yes, you can lower the hand. Now, do you have faced difficulties? How many of you felt instant fear when you encountered that difficulty? Anxiety?
Yeah, any of those emotions.
Yes.
Anxiety, fear. There is a flight and fight.
And there is a freeze one too. Sometimes people just freeze, they become dull, don't know what to do. So, yes, so we see that these things happen. And when we experience that, being in anxiety, how many of you sought direction to resolve those situations? Raise your hand. You can bring your hand
Do you
down
mean
again.
right away or later?
Yeah, later, means after you meditated, understood the situation.
So your question is?
That how many of you sought help, sought advice from others or sought help and tried to resolve? Maybe it is outside your capacity. So I do see one hand, yes.
So what? Either you seek help or
Yes. Or you fight, ready to be devoured by the circumstances. Or sometimes you understand the circumstances better. So we see that these things are really happening in life. How many of you immediately sought surrender at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna? It's very difficult, right? Because we are so conditioned, like those elephants tied to the thin rope, that sometimes people ask, "Oh, Kanha, why are you doing this to me?" Right? And while Krishna is smiling, he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm doing this so that you can come closer to me." He's calling us through difficult times. Sometimes it is very important for us to understand that we may misunderstand Krishna, but Krishna does not misunderstand us. He wants us to come closer, and there may be different ways that he may want us to come closer. Hare Krishna Devi.
So this is interesting, Prabhu. Actually, for the longest time, people stay in denial that they need any help and that they cannot manage their life and that they need help and that there are resources available. And instead of turning to Krishna actually prayerfully, along with other ways they can manage the situation, what they do is they either react in an unfavorable manner or they may go in depression or become very fearful or they may turn to some other ways like food or unhealthy association, other kinds of
Yes.
options, and only to realize later that this knowledge was already available, the resources are already available.
Yes.
So when we actually read from Srimadbhagavatam about lives of other exalted personalities,
Yes.
we can either read about them or we can see in our real life some other happenings which appear in other people's lives.
Yes.
From there, we are able to understand actually how we can in future, get into a fight or flight mode. So our manual for life, Bhagavad Gita actually is excellent. We have been reading in our reading club also. We have been reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is such a powerful dose. And so Srila Prabhupada has kindly further elaborated, and you are also explaining with this pastime of Gajendra. Please let's continue so we can.
Yes. So, my dear devotees, we see that there are so many reversals happening in life, but in reality, think of these reversals as call from Lord Krishna. That is sending various edges, just like this crocodile has come in the life of Gajendra to help him remember Lord Shri Krishna. Yes.
Something really quick. Let's have a quick round of, options. Let few devotees speak up. What are some reversal situations in life, day-to-day life? Like Just like we talk about practical ways how we can serve Krishna.
Yes.
Let's talk about practically in real life, what are our reversal situations?
Yes.
I would go with the first one. For example, someone experiences a breakup or someone is humiliated in front of the crowd.
Yes.
Like that, there are many examples. Let's have some responses from the devotees here. So let's start. Anyone? Niru Mataji, Monica Mataji, Sulakshma Mataji, please give one point at least.
Go ahead.
Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, not so supportive family members.
Okay, that's also good reversal. Sumita Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, thank you for this class. It's death of a loved one.
What was that?
Death of a loved one.
Death of a loved
Yes.
one. Loss of a loved one. Losses can happen in many ways.
Yes.
Somebody can lose money in trading out of nowhere, go totally bankrupt. Someone's business may totally be,
Yes.
gone. And then who else would like to say further? Any ideas? Reversals in life. Please feel free to share any thoughts, because when we honestly bring up the thoughts, we are not judging each other that you have experienced because you brought up this point.
Yes.
That means you have experience. No. And this is day-to-day life happening. And yeah, go ahead, Gopi.
Hare Krishna. So one of the difficult thing that I'm facing right now is long distance with parents and
Mhm.
siblings.
Okay. So estrangement, that happens sometimes. Estrangement means deliberately people are disconnected, or
No.
it is because of you
Physical distance.
far away, you're living far away and you're not, the time zone doesn't match, and several other reasons, right? I was giving some examples how.
Not referring to your
Disconnect.
situation. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
About who else would like to comment further? What kind of reversals or difficult situations happen in life? And those of you who have made a comment, you can make more points. Yes, Prabhuji.
Right. So again, I would like to refer to Gopi Mataji's case where she is feeling so distant because she is at a different place than her family members. So when you call your family members, when you talk to them on FaceTime, you hear the voice, does it give you that, connection? Does it make you feel, of course, there is no physical contact, but at the same time, you feel some, solace in that, right?
Yes, that is so true. But when there are festivals and everyone is together and you are alone, it like feels like what if they forget my presence or uh,
Yeah, we can relate to it. Actually, this is a situation where we have some students, and we were discussing similar situations when these students were like so far away from home. Their families are in India, they're in US, and what we said is like, wait a minute, each one of you are missing your family. Why don't you make yourself, all of you, become a family, like together, and do the celebrations you would do at home? So sometimes those kind of actions could also help one connect with the culture. I'm just reminded of one incident where, in US, there's a lot of snow. Sometimes it snows like 4 or 5 inches. So I was just out there, in during the snow time with my sons, and I slipped on snow. Now I saw two different reactions. While my older son, his eldest son, he immediately panicked, like, "Oh, dad has slipped." The younger son started laughing. And it just took us a moment to realize that this is a funny moment. You're supposed to be keeping balance, but things happened. So I started laughing, and suddenly the older one was relaxed and he started laughing too. And then I just laid down, I started making the snow angels, and then, the kids joined. So again, those kind of things. Sometimes we can think of a bad thing happening, but try to make it better for everyone's experience. Hare Krishna Devi, would you like to add?
So I quickly wanted to mention that specifically reversals are mentioned in the context where someone feels helpless or devastated with their situation.
Yes.
Okay. So not being close to our loved ones because of distance for any reason, for example, for job or after marriage, it actually doesn't really fit in the reversal situation because
It's a situational
choice
Yeah.
made, and they are not really like devastated or you know really unhappy or helpless about it, because they can always in future meet. But here, for example, in the pastime of Gajendra, he is on in the jaws of death. That's
Yeah.
how it has been explained.
Yes.
He is in the jaws of death.
Yes.
Crocodile is a creature of water, and elephant is the
You're
creature.
going into the next phase, but that's okay. Yes.
Explain that reverse
Yeah, creature of land.
is where
We are in a foreign element.
it's in foreign environment and
Yes.
they're helpless and they are devastated.
Yes.
So we want such examples where really, even though a person, they may want things to be ideal, but it's beyond them.
Yeah. I just wanted to finish my thought. So this incident happened. I kind of went along, the kids joined me. But then I was having that lower back pain because of sleep for next 3 weeks. So it was a tough time, right, for me. But then I made a choice. I wanted to give them a happy experience instead of a sad experience because I had fallen and hurt myself. So again, those are some of the things we are always making our choices. And so we should make the choice to give good experience to others, and also seek blessings in some way when we look at it. Just like Gajendra, he's reminded, if he was not caught up by this crocodile, then he would not have remembered, because he started meditating, what is the use of this life, why am I living, why is there so much pressure, and so forth. That we'll be covering in the next session. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us in Gems from Srimadbhagavatam. Kantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vind ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Have a wonderful week in Krishna consciousness. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.